Okay. Okay. So let me Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutle Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gaurvani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunivadi Parshade Dikshitarini Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhaktavrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. So last week, because of we had Ramananda Prabhu, we have almost like 5 hours. Huh? I finally realized we were at it for 5 hours. Well, what I came to, what I gained really much from last week is that I need to do better job in explaining what I've been thinking of what Varnasrama College concept is. Of course, I have tried to base myself on Srila Prabhupada instructions and his desires, but I definitely cannot claim that I'm understanding his desires. And of course, I've been thinking I'm understanding, so I'm going forward with that while also being open to thinking and trying to understand what others are talking about and trying to see if what where I'm going is wrong or could be modified or could be enhanced in different ways. And so part of it was how to organize a college or Varnashrama community or a farm community. And that's why I approached all the devotees to see if we can please help me bring up all the constitutional elements and how to develop this. Now, I last week we started it's it's boiling down to this. I'm able to understand that I need to lay out in much more detail what I've been thinking. It's not like what I was thinking, I was assuming that everybody knows what, last 15, 16 years, what I've been trying to do or why I've been doing it. So what I thought was let us go through some of those instructions of Srila Prabhupada when he talks about the rural self-sufficiency. Just a few, everyone knows, just to put it in perspective. Let me bring those up. So we're just going to read a few because we kind of know. I just collected some, I mean, I had ChatGPT collect them. I hope they are correct. I think they are. By ignorance, they are thinking that by opening factories, they will be happy. That is avidya, ignorance. Why should you open a factory? This is called ugra karma, horrible work. There is no need of factories. You have got land. Here are so many lands. Produce your food grains. Annat bhavanti bhutani. Eat sumptuously food grains and milk, which can be had without any factory. The factory cannot produce milk or food grain. The present scarcity of foodstuff means everybody is engaged in the city producing bolts and nuts and no one is producing food grain. This is a solution to the economic problem. Annat bhavanti bhutani. Therefore, we are trying to engage our men to produce their own food, be self-sufficient, so that these rascals may see how one can live very peacefully, eating the food grains and milk and chant Hare Krishna. This is our mission. This is from Srimad Bhagavatam 1835 in Mayapur and a lecture 15th October 1974. According to Bhagavad Gita, economic problem can be solved anywhere. If you have some land, you produce your food grain and give it to the animals, especially to the cows, and she'll give you milk in return. So if you get milk, fruits, vegetables, and food grains, the whole economic problem is solved. We have already started this example in New Vrindavan. on about 500 acres of land and we keep cows. They work to produce some vegetables and food grains, so they don't go outside for solving economic problems. At the present moment, now I'm coming from India. In Bombay, there is a railway strike. People are people are in so miserable a condition to go to their work 50 miles, 40 miles, 100 miles just for earning their bread. This kind of economic situation has increased the problems of life. Rather, if we accept this economic solution, then anywhere in the world you live, you don't have to go outside hundreds of miles, produce your food grains, keep animals, and everything is solved. It's from a conversation with city official in Geneva. So his seems like self-sufficiency. He's talking about food, milk, and then he says they should be developed as an ideal society depending on natural products, not industry. So same thing, food. It is his will that universal welfare work depends on the protection of cows and Brahmins. Thus, Brahminical culture and cow protection are the basic principles for human civilization. We must tend the cows very nicely so that they give us sufficient milk, and with that milk we shall live. I'm trying to understand what does he mean by self-sufficiency, because this question I've been asking everybody. What do you mean by self-sufficiency when you say we should go towards self-sufficiency? So what is Srila Prabhupada's vision of self-sufficiency? Is it only food and milk, self-sufficiency? The village organization is that the local people produce their necessities like grains, vegetables, milk, and cloth. Now he's brought in cloth too. And for recreation, and he brought in recreation too, they have the chanting of Hare Krishna. They should live there comfortably and have spiritual recreation. They should not come to the cities. I wish to introduce this ideal now. It's 1975 in Mahamsa. So that's in Hyderabad farm. Then, if we are successful, this cheating civilization will stop. They have made these cities into hell. If people do not cooperate with them, then how will these factories run on? And if the people are satisfied by this arrangement, then what will the communities do? So, any thoughts on it? Seems it's when Srila Prabhupada is talking about self sufficiency, he is emphasizing on basically only food and milk and cloth. We know about shelter also, he's told many times. That's what else? What else have devotees been thinking of when they think about rural self-sufficiency? Anyone?
Well, I brought it up. I can't look at it or look it up right now, but there's just a question of living locally and not needing to travel outside of a particular area for um, even for friends. And specifically, he mentioned, if you live locally, then your friends can be within your own village too. So there was an element of transport. He mentioned it in one of the quotes that you there about not having to go so far to get to work. And he talks about how we're so proud of our motor car civilization because we can go so far with our car, but the result is that you have to go so far with our car. And that integrating the oxen as the mode of transport, we should stay local, within a small area. And he mentioned specifically, even to the extent, that if you need friends, you just have your friends locally in the village. So they're just, yeah, a locality, or I don't know if that's the way to put it. But
So transportation, local living is
yeah,
self-sufficiency. Yeah. Okay. What else? Food and transportation,
cloth,
shelter, cloth. Okay.
um, basically necessities, and then reducing the demands of the body to the utmost extent, that is possible, and save time. Reducing the demands of the body to save time uh, from the endeavor to meet the demands of the body, to have more time for Krishna consciousness.
Anything else?
Um, trying to think off the top of my head. Oh, razor blades. He mentioned blacksmith, local industry. Um, he mentioned, yeah, going back to you mentioning the idea of a blacksmith where you have one blade and you can just have a local blacksmith sharpen it over and over rather than having to buy disposable blades from the Gillette factory in Germany or something.
Hmm.
So basically local artisans, that type of thing. That was an ideal as well.
I don't know how to write. I've never used this. Doesn't even know how to write, like normal write.
No more right on.
And try
Bro,
faster.
I think he brings up, Srila Prabhupada mentions in that what you were reading there about he says many times like living simply. So what does he mean by living simply? What does that, what does that mean?
That's my question exactly.
From what I have understood, maybe it's a misunderstanding that he was talking about that living simply. I think there's a verse somewhere where he says that an individual is happiest when he can earn his livelihood from home, and it says like a few things, 3 things, something like that. Basically, that you're not going out after this, chasing after economic development. And also just now he mentioned in the conversation there to make this an ideal civilization. So then, what is a measure of an ideal civilization? Also, so those are things that I'm curious about.
I'm not able to do this, but people are seeing this whiteboard. I'm like, so this is the first time I'm trying to use this. If anyone tells me how, or somebody wants to type, let's go ahead.
Krishna Prabhu, I see the whiteboard and I'm just on my phone now. I don't know how to do it on the phone. There is a little T for text, and then you can write just normally?
I'm there. I've been trying it.
Where
Okay, yes. Okay. Okay.
I
Transport.
see it. I
Uh,
think I got it. See, now there's a text field. You can write into that. It's above food.
yeah.
I'll write something into it if I can.
If somebody
Huh.
can write all this: food, shelter, transport, um, what was it? Cloth, then local, local living in a sense, like, I don't know. So, I mean, basically, if you get the idea that this is what he's saying, and to me, when I first started looking at it, it seemed so enticing and romantic, kind of rural romantic life like that. Then I just escape from this society in a sense. Oh, it's so nice, idealistic life, idyllic life. But I started doing it, with my wife. And I soon realized, like within a year, I started realizing that, well, Srila Prabhupada, when he talks about it, is different from what he has written in his books. In his books, the Bhagavatam, Srimad Bhagavatam, and Chaitanya Charitamrita, before 300 years back, 400 years back, it was no industrial civilization. People were living simply, and there is a whole civilization living. There is a whole economic development happening. There is a whole village structure, sociology, economics. There is criminology, criminal justice. There is art, so many crafts. There is military science. There is all the all the Brahminical sciences, like many different kind of businesses. Krishi, Goraksha, Vanijam is Vanijam. There are many trades. And like to have a society, a civilization doesn't end and start. I mean, maybe this is like uh, maybe this is something which we can discuss. Why is Srila Prabhupada only focusing on food and shelter and cloth? It's more like I see it's like the boiled down to the simplest when he's talking like that in his words and when he's saying like that. But he has written to us 100 more things of how a alternative civilization should. So it doesn't end here. And that's how I started understanding. I thought, Ramananda Prabhu, okay, and what I'll do is, well, I started understanding that he's not, when he's saying this is a simplistic version he's giving in his um, personal example, which when he would have actually started developing it later on, as he said, my 50% of work, or now I'm going to go to Grita Nagri and sit down and expand and show you, he would have, I mean, these are basic things which develop whenever people are living in a village environment or rural environment. Then see, child whole education system which he started telling us, Gurukul system, then Varnasrama College, all the different sciences. It's a whole civilization based on land simple living, not that just simple living and then you cut out all the civilization aspects of it. Education system is one, healthcare system is another. There is a whole like law enforcement, whole like there is a whole enforcement structure environment. And then there is criminal justice, I mean, like a whole um, uh, justice system. And maybe people can help me. All the different, let's say, even in local villages, there are all these like municipality, how the town planning should be, how no, the whole, even in let's say, if we say just live simply, let's say just food. Now, food doesn't mean just knowing how to plant some seed and live for ourselves. For the leaders of the society, they need to figure out which seeds, the right breeds, like breeding them to the, because environment, climate, diseases, it's a continuous science, breeding science. It's not, we are not talking of GMO. It's a local normal breeding. When I got into it, I understood it's like a huge science of how to breed properly. That it, and they have to be continuously bred, and continuously the seeds have to be alive. They can't be just one time done and put in storage, and like many devotees I see, or put in the storage when our civilization collapses, we can use them. No, every 2 years they have to be rejuvenated. It just doesn't work that the same potency any organism, any organic product can keep. Cow production, I mean, in Vedic science somewhere it was being done. Now it is like, let's even forget the civilization, modern civilization. Let's just say we were all living in rural area still. After 400 years, there was no industrial revolution. Still, so much science goes into uh, changes in the environment, climate, people, diseases. I mean, just like so much of breeding between cows, within cows, how the bulls, they are preserved, their lines are preserved, different lines. So much talk, discussion, so many things have, it goes into it. It's like a, when we talk about an alternative civilization or living in rurally, it just doesn't happen in a cocoon and a vacuum. There is a whole ecosystem, a whole civilization ecosystem around it. Let me finish here for the time being. I mean, I want to hear what devotees think. I mean, this is what I started thinking, and that is the direction I started taking with Varnasrama College. So this is a very big juncture in my consciousness about 15 years back, when I started understanding that. I feel I started understanding. Maybe I'm wrong. So please, I'd like to hear. Anyone?
Oh, I'm sorry. Can you hear me, Prabhu?
Yes.
Okay, sorry. For some reason, I'm stuck in the chalkboard. It came on, and
Okay, let me remove this. Okay.
there we go. Okay, that's all right. I just was just taking a little getting used to while I shovel manure here. I um I appreciate what you're saying there with regards to um, a possible misconception of simple living being equated to becoming simpletons without any sort of sophistication of the manner of doing things. But that may be a misinterpretation. But I don't know if I ever held that misinterpretation. He obviously said simple living, higher. He had said simple living, higher thinking. So, um, but the basic fundamental is to reduce the demands of the body, to revert to the land, and then whatever is required to sustain that simple local life is acceptable. So I don't know that I've ever thought that it would be devoid of that level of sophistication that you're explaining. That would be necessary. I suppose I would assume that that would be necessary, like any agricultural, what would you call it, industry. There's all kinds of levels of sophistication in terms of making the endeavor successful. But there was a lot of emphasis on just coming away from the brain taxing, the excessive brain taxing civilization as it is now, and making sure that whatever it is whatever sophistication you do develop, that it is done locally, and that it you can prevent the becoming entangled in a civilization that is not conducive to Krishna consciousness. So I don't see anything. There's nothing what you just said that seems wrong. Am I still on?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, it sounds good.
Anyone else?
I wonder why. What element of that is in the Dark Ages? I'm not sure.
What about, I just posted something. I just looked up, telling me. Societal pillars are the fundamental structures supporting a civilization, often categorized into 7 key areas: education, economics, family, religion, science, government, media. I don't know about media and that thing, but communication probably, or broader groups like political, economic, social, cultural, and environmental factors, with some models highlighting state, market, community. What is the Vedic system, Vedic understanding of what is a civilization? What are the basic categories? Any?
I think
But
a lot of
what was the
devotees have
question
a.
that you asked there?
What is the Vedic
What?
system? What is a, like, if we are living in, what I understand from his Bhagavatam purports, when he's talking about living away from this demoniac civilization, the reason being that it promotes godlessness, and it is then designed to for enjoyment of the body and control of others and resources, rather than designed to evoke God consciousness and living as servants. With, you
Yes.
know. So he doesn't talk like that, that just by living food, have sufficiency and like that. That may be a like essence of it. But so what when he talks about civilization change, what does it mean according to Vedic system? What is a civilization? What are the components of a civilization?
Go ahead, Hari Kirtan Prabhu. I think you were going to say something.
Yeah, I was just going to say that I think that this is important to figure out, you know, the civilization, and like you said, all of those aspects of it, those different branches of society and organization, they all have to be there, especially if we are going to implement some system of Varnasrama. Then you have to have all the different engagements for the various Varnas and the different facility for the different ashramas. And so that all has to be there. But I think what often comes up is devotees that are interested in implementing this or thinking about this. They are thinking, well, it's me and my family and 6 other families. And so we're not going to implement all aspects of it right now. We're going to implement the aspects that are immediately pertinent to us, and so that is food and land and shelter and like that. And then frequently the soonest thing that comes up is education, and so, and then of course medical health, And I think that's kind of like what we see with different devotees' endeavors in this direction. It's not that people don't think that those things would be necessary or that would not be, a part of the system. It's just that typically, if you're going to start implementing law enforcement and, you know, various, just all these different systems of societal governance and such, it or any of them, it really applies better when you have a larger group of people. And I think that's been difficult for a lot of people to visualize that, oh, where is this larger group of people? We're not trying to start right off from the bat. So it's more of a what can we do now approach. That's all, just my thoughts in that regard.
Thank you, Prabhu. Anyone else? Please do. This is an important aspect. Varnasrama Prabhu, spiritual worldview, dharma, varnasrama, economy, education, governance, culture, environment, bhakti. Gurukul, Goshala, farming, Varnashram colleges, all this in Vedic life suggests or require a handsome number of devotees. Okay, so why don't we discuss? I understand, Hari Kirtan Prabhu, you're very correct. So, because we have to start where we are. Also, we like one little bit, let's say, Ramananda Prabhu, I'm putting you on mute. Whenever you like to speak, is it possible you can unmute and please go ahead? So, that we should be like have open, I mean, I feel we should have this like with wide eyed that we know that we in whatever number of generations it takes, Srila Prabhupada's vision of all civilization and the books as law books of that civilization are it is first of all that is what he's desiring, and second that is what will happen for sure. When and how, we don't know, but it is going to happen. But for us, we need to start where we are at and what are the most important, like as he's rightly pointing out, Hari Kirtan Prabhu, that there are families and they need children, education and health and just basic food and living situation simple, and so that we can have sadhu sangha and practice Krishna consciousness and make sure the children are growing up and well, and also they can be engaged, and we have been discussing in the other discussion about being able to deliver them. So such a huge duty. I mean, why I'm like that, because we were seeing it's so difficult in this age. It's like horrible, like so tough trying to ensure all these things together. And I have all respect for devotees who have children and many children who are trying to do and maybe successful. It's also amazing. So, what I was, why don't we discuss this aspect, what Hari Kirtan was saying about, let's say, the food and basic shelter, which can be utilizing whatever the elements of the current age, and current civilization and health. Today, I was hoping I can go a little bit deeper in the health aspect and kind of share with you and also get feedback from you the direction which I've been taking, not just for current health, also for like building out this all civilization component. It's going to take many generations, many generations. But my thinking was we start somewhere, something somewhere, and I needed to have make money for my family. So then I started thinking, what should I do which can also help in this regard? And I went into Ayurveda, especially knowing I was seeing what did Srila Prabhupada do when he was in his Grihastha ashram. What was he doing? And he was actually a pharmacist, and he had a factory, pharmaceutical company. And so I started thinking, oh, why don't I try to also do something similar? I can just follow in his footsteps. I know I'll be certain that this is an occupation which is all right for me. And so somehow or the other it went into the I heard Srila Prabhupada saying, if you can get uh, good quality Ayurveda medicines from India, then you can import them. He wrote in a letter to one devotee. So I thought, okay, maybe I should look around. And so I went and looked around all of India. And we figured out, okay, this company, particularly in South India, has the best quality I could think of. And they're very respected. So I started, it worked out that we started bringing those medicines and Ayurveda medicine. So one thing led to another. And now gradually in the Ayurveda community in the US, this is one of the leaders. And so I started understanding more and more the healthcare system because of it. And my thinking was, if I can get into Ayurveda, then in the rural community, self-sufficiency, healthcare is so expensive otherwise. So people in US especially, so devotees would be able to learn and get into preventative healthcare properly, and also if there are diseases, more or less could be handled here, and young devotees could be trained in these kind of Ayurveda sciences and health sciences. So a Brahmanically inclined child could be encouraged to go in those and have a career, and land-based and simple living, and all these could be done. So that was like some kind of theoretical understanding in like 2006 or something, a long time back. And then gradually I haven't changed my view. It has just become more like deeper in my understanding of how much complication is there in healthcare for it to really be a alternative healthcare for an alternative civilization. And it's going to take many maybe 100 years. I don't know. I don't even think about what it'll, but progressively, more and more, it can develop like that, because the knowledge of herbal and local has kind of become almost evaporated. And so I just wanted to give you a little background of what, like, Varnasrama College, I've been thinking Varnasrama College doesn't mean all devotees per se right from the beginning, because we're talking about, Srila Prabhupada talks about in the 12th March 1974 conversation, that there will be people who are exasperated from the cities and they want to come to our communities. And for them, you teach them, he says, and you become expert. He's saying to devotees, you become expert and teach them by example. So I started understanding that, oh, Varnasrama College is not just for devotees, it is for normal people in the world. And in the cities, we as college, we would much prefer having people with lot of brain power and lot of intelligence and doing something in the world, but they are understanding the world is civilization is not going in the right direction. So I started, because of Srila Prabhupada saying first class, not mass, and all those, because we need the leadership, and we need people who will develop the 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 what is it called, the knowledge base, the knowledge source of this civilization. So more and more I'm seeing people who are like, let's say, let me show this to you, 1 second. So this is something, this is a Varnasrama college as per what I think Srila Prabhupada would, I don't know if he likes, I feel he likes it. I don't know, but I cannot, I don't think it is something which is directly there in the Bhagavatam like that, you know. So this is, and I'll try to give you reasons why I've been thinking, and I really like devotees to comment on it and review it. And this could be applicable in education. I want that this should be done in all the different aspects, like education and our social structure, the sociology which is called, then also in terms of criminology, in terms of law enforcement among the devotee community. You know, because all these child abuses, all these things, if it was developed, then these things are really curtailed. Among devotees, especially with the purification and with the intelligence, it should never happen ever again with all the past experience among us. So so all these different social aspects are there. Different devotees would feel inspired to do different things. I somehow stumbled into this health aspect, healthcare aspect. So what I'm trying to see, the main issue is in the health. Let's say if we bring Ayurveda, so Ayurveda has different principles given by Lord Dhanvantari, Lord Vishnu's incarnation. So I kind of started um, surrendering to Lord Dhanvantari in understanding what he would like to do in Lord Chaitanya's mission, because all the incarnations are within the body of Lord Krishna. You know, ete chamsa kala pumsa Krishnastu Bhagwan Swayam, and Lord Krishna is himself coming as Lord Chaitanya to bring all the people around this world, collect them. So I started trying to pray to him to understand how would he like to, what is his thinking of serving Lord Chaitanya's mission. And I mean, I don't claim to know all the things, but this is the direction which is evolving, and it is coming up also, you know. So this is that I started understanding that the current medical system, they, of course, they don't, because of the chronic diseases, they don't know really how to solve, because they are more or less lifestyle diseases. And the current medical system is disease management rather than really a rigorous science around preventative care, you know. So that is a big aspect. And Srila Prabhupada comments on it throughout his lectures, even in his books. So many places in his letters, he talks about, he gives different, this different remedies or different things which you shouldn't do. He talks about sleeping early, getting up early, keeps one healthy, wealthy, and wise, and such, and many other things. Of course, the food is very important. He talks about that has the potency by which body can be healthy. Locally eating our own grown food and fresh vegetables and fruits and milk, that will, you know. So all these are the basic components which the current civilization is not doing, and the devotees also are not doing. So they remain they get lifestyle diseases. So many devotees, I remember 30 years back I went to a naturopathy clinic because I was sick, very bad lifestyle, just out of college, and I was just getting into Krishna consciousness, and they told me, oh, you are from Hare Krishna, oh, you guys are so sick. I was so incensed by it. I was thinking, oh, he's a blasphemer, because he was saying, you devotees, you eat so many food stuff and they have so much sugar, and you eat like so many times a day, and so many. He kept on criticizing devotees in terms of their eating habits and their lifestyle, and I was so upset with him. But then later on, I was thinking, and watched it, and I see devotees don't know really how to eat or sleep, and like drinking, and so many things aren't there in many devotees' lifestyles. So the sickness becomes more, and many devotees, most devotees I know have some lifestyle disease or the other, even at like after 55, 60 years of age, for sure. they are more healthy than other people in the world because of their lifestyle, definitely, but that doesn't mean they don't have these diseases too. And so lifestyle diseases is important to know, and allopathy doesn't have really a solution for it. Ayurveda has. It lies whole rigorous science is there developed around it. But and not just so many other diseases, not even lifestyle diseases, many other diseases, they know many more things. But what they don't have, they haven't kept up with the science of changing bodies, changing environment, changing lifestyles, changing inputs in the body, mind, emotional trauma, and they haven't kept up with it. They're just more or less rooted in the past. Oh, we were so great, we have so much knowledge, and they have. Problem is it has become more or less static other than a few people understanding and then doing research on it. So the current medical system, they good thing is they do a lot and lot of research on continuously, because more or less they are not going through Shabda Praman through they are going through deductive knowledge, because of which, right, Gauranga Prabhu saying health imbalance caused by improper living, including irregular habits, unnatural diet, mental agitation, excessive sense indulgence, moral and dharmic deviation. All very good. I could add karma also, past karma, and the collective karma is also there, which also causes all these diseases. It's very tough to overcome this past karma and collective karma. So, and so we, I just lost my chain of thought for a second. Could somebody remind me what I was talking about?
You were talking about deductive knowledge.
Thank you. Thank you, Prabhu. So allopathy is into deductive knowledge. So they have to research. Ayurveda starts with Shabda Praman, of course, from the Lord Dhanvantari, and then he passed on his knowledge to different disciples, Shushruta and many other disciples, and like that it has been coming down. Ashwini Kumaras from before, and but they that research continuously, it's a evolving process based on the principles given in the scriptures, which they don't do because there is no support and so many other things I can go into, but whatever, they don't do. So plus Ayurveda also wants to similarly don't they have these lifestyle solutions and understanding and science, but they are working in a civilization which doesn't promote those lifestyles. So they are also hands are tied, so it doesn't work. So people lose faith in them so much, and then they go to allopathy. Many times allopathy has so many side effects, or it doesn't work outright, and then they bounce back from this thing and so many pseudosciences, so many things, new age sciences they go into here and there. I can just go on and on. So much I have learned in this being in healthcare industry. So what I've been thinking is, why don't we devotees, we can provide some kind of direction, environment to those people who are already, who's those, so doctors, both allopathy doctors and Ayurveda doctors, bring them together. No, this recently I started thinking. It's not like I started thinking like this from earlier and then I had a master plan in my mind, and not like that. It just evolved gradually as I started going in the direction of how to develop this alt healthcare, which I knew we need to do from understanding from Srila Prabhupada's purpose. So what I've been doing now is in our farm in Florida, I started calling it the Ayurveda Collective. And so I'll just read a little bit, and if anybody wants to comment, please go ahead and orally or in the comment section, and we'll keep breaking it up like that. We are building a farm-based Ayurveda healing collective that bridges healthcare and farming, bringing together healthcare professionals, Ayurveda, yoga, and wellness practitioners, regenerative farmers, and culinary medicine chefs to collaboratively reverse chronic diseases through food, herbs, and lifestyle. Guided by Ayurveda and sustained by our tropical organic farm, we are creating a collaborative model of regenerative healthcare for people, soil, and society. Join us in creating a model of integrative sustainable health for people, soil, and society. I think it is too much. So there is lifestyle medicine, research, and education. Are you a health professional? Are you a practitioner, healer, or educator passionate about holistically combating chronic diseases? Join a regenerative wellness collective. So I'm calling all these healthcare professionals, Ayurveda doctors, Panchakarma specialists, yoga therapists, healthcare educators, lifestyle, functional medicine, and herb growers. The people fill up this form. Not go there. Where were we? Okay. Be part of the healing movement, step into a living experiment in farm-based Ayurveda where doctors, healers, and farmers co-create a new model of wellness rooted in food. So this is the mission of it. Integrate organic farming, Ayurveda, and modern medical science to regenerate people's soil, create America's first farm-based Ayurveda community dedicated to why we are doing it, and of course, develop as a flagship model for chronic disease prevention, establish an Ayurvedic and integrative centers, create education research programs demonstrating food as medicine, train and treat thousands each year through farm-based healing. It just goes on, and how US industry is like that. And science-based and peer-reviewed open access. These are the more. So why I'm trying to do like that is because there are many medical doctors who want to practice Ayurveda, but what they lack is an environment, a place where they can, like when the doctors, they go out of college, they go into residencies. Residencies are where they shadow a doctor in a actual hospital environment, and they are also then under the guidance of expert doctors. They also start practicing on patients. They are doctors, they have full power, full legal power as a doctor, but they are in residency. They are getting practical training, so to say. Maybe 2 to 3 years this residency goes on. Then they are allowed to go and do on their own. Without that, no, they cannot. So, but when these medical doctors, they get into they want to practice Ayurveda principles, they do not have the environment where they can practice. They can't do Ayurveda residency, so to say. So that is one lacking. So they don't get support of other experienced doctors or Ayurveda professionals who can tell them, okay, this time you do this with this patient, that thing. There is so much knowledge which they gain by following doctor and seeing different case studies and developing it, going into each cases and understanding it and theoretically discussing with peers. And it's like a whole ecosystem it is under, in which these doctors get trained, even people who want to practice Ayurveda. Similarly, Ayurvedic doctors, they do not have license to practice in the US, so they are not able to practice at all. So they lack experience. Slowly the knowledge dwindles. In Ayurveda also says somebody who doesn't practice their science becomes moot. His knowledge dries up, and many other issues happen because of lack of insurance, lack of, there's so much liability there, so they don't practice. So they need somehow to practice. And of course, the same problem happens, that there is the same food as medicine thing, lifestyle changes are not being. So I thought, why don't we put a collective kind of together, let them be the drivers, allopathy doctors. Let me show you some doctors who are interested, just so that you understand where, just to put it in perspective, everybody. Anyone else has anything to say till now while I pull this up?
Prabhu, Hare Krishna, Prabhu. I just have a small doubt. Prabhu, how does it work like in USA that too in 2026, this generation? Do really people come for Ayurveda or this does Ayurvedic doctors really exist or interested in this area? I'm unable to understand this.
Mhm. Let me show you. One second. I'm going to recount some of these doctors talking, and just to preserve their privacy, I'm going to keep muting when they're talking about their name. And then
Prabhu, we are not able to hear the audio part.
To maintain privacy, Prabhu told, na?
Oh, sorry.
Nimai Prabhu, there's a way to share again and tick an audio box, share audio as well. Then we can hear.
Right.
And I am a board certified pediatrician based in the northern New Jersey area currently. I trained at USF All Children's Hospital for my pediatric residency. And then I moved back to New Jersey and worked as a pediatric hospitalist with the Barnabas Health System here for quite some years. And then this led me to a position as hospitalist again at UCLA, for which I moved to California. However, through this journey, I just always felt like something was missing for me with medicine. The healing aspect of medicine, the spiritual aspect of medicine, and this led me to explore functional medicine. I trained with IFM and completed that certification a few years ago. And then I further got introduced to Dr. Vasant Lad's Ayurveda program. I completed ASP 1 and 2, which was beyond an amazing experience for me. It sort of brought back medicine for me a bit. And it sort of also highlighted a lot of things that I just intuitively knew in how, we should be practicing medicine and the art of healing. I currently, for the last few years, have had my own private pediatric practice in northwestern New Jersey. Just having completed all of this training, I am navigating the landscape of, doing Ayurvedic functional medicine consults along with my allopathic practice. Sort of figuring out how to navigate through the insurance world with all of this. And I am super excited to have met so many of you at NAMA and then being part of this lovely group. I am very excited to see what Ayurveda holds for us in the future. And I look forward to collaborating with all of you inspiring friends. Thank you.
let me pull up. Were you able to all hear?
Yes, Prabhu.
So let me pull up.
Yes, Prabhu.
This is not audible for me.
Oh, 1 second.
Still not.
For creating this space and
Yeah.
and inviting me to be a part of it. Just a bit about my background. I started actually as a chemical engineer, had a strong interest in medicine that kept compelling me, and I went to medical school to pursue that. I went to residency for emergency medicine, and then did a fellowship in international emergency medicine, which included my MPH, and that was at Hopkins. And then I moved to New York City after completing that. Started working at Cornell. I was an urban emergency medicine doctor there. And at that time tried to start a family. And it was actually quite difficult. And that process is what inspired me to look into food as medicine and led me to Ayurveda. I was able to get pregnant. I have 2 boys. They're now 13 and 16. And I continued working. I did leave emergency medicine some time ago. I am maintaining my board certification. I'm also picked up obesity medicine as a board certification. And I have been able to take some summer institutes with Dr. Vasant Lad in New Mexico. I also was able to study with him in Pune in a Gurukula. I have studied with Dr. Naina Marbali here in New York City. And I most recently completed an Ayurvedic physician program with Dr. Kashyap Fisher, who is based in New Mexico. I'm very excited to continue learning and being inspired by all of you. And I look forward to the discussions and the camaraderie of this group.
So there are many doctors like this, medical doctors. As far as Ayurveda doctors, there are hundreds and hundreds of them here. They can't practice. So I've been thinking, somehow creating a ecosystem where they can all come together and do this, develop their own clinics for diabetes, obesity, arthritis, autoimmune, cardio. So what I did was, in this farm, I subdivided some land. Of course, there's a temple and devotee place and everything. Up with our earlier discussions of Agraharam, I thought, okay, this is a great idea. What I could do is have 1 or 2 lots, just like donate them to a temple and for devotees and people who are more focused on Krishna consciousness. And the remaining lots, then I could probably sell to these doctors and Ayurveda colleges and tell them, see, we can provide the farming, we can provide the spiritual environment, and we can here you are, and bring the Ayurveda doctors to the medical people and say, here, if you come here, you buy some of those lots, build your home practice, and we will provide you with this Ayurvedic doctors in the college, in the same environment, and the food as medicine, and this whole environment of rural living, and also we can show you how to train in many different ways of spiritual science, because all the problems are coming basically because of spiritual deficiencies or spiritual obstructions finally. And so a lot more has to be told in it, but it's keeping very brief. So it has been very successful. I mean, I'm really happy about this, that many doctors are interested. Some are buying, some have bought also. And So yeah, so and all these doctors, I'm telling them that please let us do research work in all these different aspects. Some research work has been done, but I would really like you to do research work. We would help you develop that infrastructure to do research work too. Operate branded chronic disease or research center. So I do not know whether how it will work, but successfully, not successfully. But I've been thinking that if we can, in a Varnasrama college, they are really good candidates, let's say, for a Varnasrama college. Like they're Brahminical inclined. As many want to like perfect their life, they want to go more and more higher. Maybe they may not be fully knowing exactly how the whole spiritual whole thing works, or the mode of goodness in the science of developing mode of goodness, like what we have been trained. We don't know the medical science, similarly. So why don't we come together and we can share this knowledge also, which will help them develop their healing practice. They become better and better. And if they can do research work, that develops a whole science. Because you see, what happens is herbs, local herbs, Srila Prabhupada says grow locally. Now, herbs, Bhagavatam talks about herbs. Bible, the Genesis 128 talks about herb-bearing plants. I've given you herb-bearing shrubs. I've given you, and so these herbs, the Lord has provided all over the world. The local medicinal herbs are there everywhere. Like Swiss Alps, we were there with the Vaishnava Prabhu, and I saw there is a whole culture of the whole herbology here. And in India is there, Chinese medicines, there's Amazon jungles is there. Here also Native Americans used to do, but it's kind of evaporated this knowledge. So, but there are some people here, even here, or Alex stays, he knows a lot more, and then there is a couple of other people here who know. So I'm trying to see, so a lot of research needs to be done, which are the different herbs around here, locally grown, in each climate, each environment, each locality, which do the same function as what Ayurveda talks about, that this particular herbs does this and that, and then if you mix them with this herb and this herb, then so a lot more research needs to be done on that, just the herbal aspect, what to speak of different diseases and how the allopathy diagnostic tools and all these things can work together with the Ayurveda principles and make them actually help treat a patient when they are sick. What to speak of their palliative care if they really become sick and there is no end, kind of, or after cancer treatments or old age home, and so all of these, not that we develop it, but in a community where they are developing, people who have the knowledge and skill and the ability and the karma, and they develop this thing and we develop the spiritual aspect, hopefully for them too, and for us and for other people, their patients and others. So this is some way, this is one way I'm thinking of the alt healthcare. It will develop gradually. New York also, I think we should do the same thing, New York Farm. And I mean, it's a great way financially also. And so similarly, the education, same thing, anybody could do who would like to do. Like I've been thinking of, this is the similar thing I'm trying to do in the developing mm, uh, um, the cow protection program, and we can cover that later. And for in the Krishi aspect also a little bit I've been working on, not so much like this, but we can cover that too later. So yes, open for discussion, review. Please go ahead.
Prabhu, up to now, I've always thought of the Varnashram College as sort of like a one-stop shop for um, local college where you could learn all the necessary Varnas, um, on a very sort of cottage industry level, not, you know, like not a big, that I guess my imagination was not so big, but I thought that each, and I wasn't necessarily holding fast to this, just it was just the limit of my imagination. But I was imagining that each college would be sort of a self-sufficient in itself, and that every individual community or college would be able to teach all the necessary trades and occupations locally. Do you have the same vision, I guess? And what you are doing there seems to be a more of a specialized, a much more elaborate, specialized college focusing on one particular aspect. Um, how do you envision tying in the other all the other occupations, the training for all the other occupations? Do you feel that they can be done locally? Do you have the same opinion that it should be all in one local, or one college here, one college there, like a specialized college for Goraksha in New York and something like that?
Exactly, Prabhu. This is exactly because each climate, see, I'm basing this on Srila Prabhupada talks about in the Bhagavatam that Vyasadeva gave, he trained many different acharyas in different branches of knowledge. And then we hear, then I've been here, I mean, we hear from Srila Prabhupada saying that the students would go to the people's, the teachers' hermitages, and they were in the forest. You know, when the king would visit hermitages of these sages and who had students also. So, and then later on, I started finding out from other sources that, like in Varnasrama concept, these, there's a Gurukul, excuse me, so there's a Gurukul system where the children grow either in the local village school, like what Lord Chaitanya studied, was in village school, like he would go in the morning to the school and come back. And or there were Gurukuls where like Krishna went to Sandipni Muni. But that Gurukul was not just till primary school, it was for after 10, 12 years of age. Now we see Lord Krishna was taught all the different arts and crafts, and like 64 arts he was taught because he was Kshatriya, so he was taught so many of those arts. But generally, but Sandipni Muni was teaching him because he must be like really, really experienced and knowledgeable like that. But generally, from Lord, what we hear from Vyasadeva, he was teaching different acharyas in different sciences, and it naturally happens that one person is there who is teaching, then his students also teach, and then gradually that area, maybe because of that person or because the environment is more suited to it, that becomes like the fort of knowledge of that particular aspect. And this here in Florida, it is very conducive for, till now, my mind only thinks of two things. One is for this of health. Health could be done anywhere practically in different climates, but in terms of forest knowledge, especially in tropical forests. So I'm trying to develop this, see, this this coconut food forest, a model for tropical climate, which under coconuts, a canopy, one can do um, growing of different crops, because Srila Prabhupada says 4 acre and a cow. So in northeast, it is not 4 acre, it will be much more, because one cow takes 2 acres, just one cow itself. what to speak of when children come and because of the cold weather. But in tropical climate, it is the less. Maybe even in 1 acre, one can survive if one really utilizes the area because they are multi-stories and one can really on the ground one can grow also. On the creepers can grow black pepper, vanilla like this. So I'm trying all these things here. And developing a model is very, very small stages. I mean, I've been trying to do it for last 4 years, and we got a big hurricane, and so in hurricane, how to be resilient to hurricane. So all that knowledge could be developed here. I'm trying to develop something called U.S. Institute, U.S. Coconut Institute. Just the brand name U.S. Coconut. So U.S. Coconut Institute. So different people from the tropics could come and learn, and hopefully devotees, or they can become devotees, whichever way. But this is a college where one could teach that around, Ishavasya principle. So, but in New York, as you rightly pointed out, the here because land is very expensive in the tropics, having cows here, it's very tough for personal use, yes, but for commercial use, it's really troublesome. But here in New York, Northeast is traditionally have been great place for developing dairies, and whole of Northeast US has thousands of dairies because the land is has rocky, and it is has so many swales like that, and so rolling hills, and it is conducive for growing hay and grains for the cows, and berries and fruit trees and other things. So it just lends itself to having a dairy and developing a whole ethic. So this is why we are developing it here in New York. And that's what I've been hoping we can both work together, you in near Montreal and we, and develop this cow protection model in very all these ways. We were going through it last week, researching all these aspects of cow suckling, newborn calves, separated, not separated, half male calves, what to do with them, how to train them. So definitely it's different places, different things. Education, it will depend on education. Somebody else, some really strong, like Kitan's wife, she is very strong in education. Maybe she develops, and then people will be attracted to her, and there is a more environment in one place. So it becomes a place of learning and research and new things of the whole pedagogy of teaching, and just the whole system of education starts developing more, or local education. Uh,
Can I just ask a specific question with relation to that farm there in Florida? The practitioners that would come there and establish a practice, would they be planning on living there and treating people that live there locally, or is that their base to be able to treat people virtually throughout the country or around the world?
Prabhu, I'm like an observer, and I'm trying to understand how it could work. I'm not like some visionary, or I have this whole thing in understanding it clearly. So I'm seeing the way it could work is it would be working is that some people, like, ideal would be the Gurukul system, of course. Srila Prabhupada has told Varnasrama Colleges like that, because we are talking about in developing the students' spiritual consciousness, mode of goodness, and then the spiritual consciousness. And it develops faster when one is having direct association and more prolonged association. But of course, this is the world we live in, and gradually, like, my duty is to make it more and more interesting and more so attractive that people want to come and they want to come and live here rather than just come for visits alone. students especially, or even doctors and such. So some doctors definitely want to move for their own practice and this climate, and they would like to have first, maybe they will start with, and I'm just saying, I don't know what they will do, but it generally, from my past experience of seeing how practices develop or Ayurveda things develop, is they will start seeing patients come in like just for consultation, and then gradually I've been telling them, why don't you make like 4 rooms are allowed here in bed and breakfast. So in your home, you develop 4 rooms, which you can have patients come and live there for a couple of weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks. Which Ayurveda treatments are like that for a couple of weeks, 3 weeks, 5 weeks, 4 weeks. So you could, because lifestyle changes and other things, which we could also, yeah, like retreat, yes. So they can, but small, like I'm not thinking like a huge thing. Like each individual becomes its own teacher, and teacher is teaching according to their own capacity, and let it develop. If somebody becomes like an acharya, it will also develop. Ayurveda acharya, automatic develop. People will, so people will, the other doctors will start to gravitate towards him or her. But otherwise, everyone is their own teacher, and people, the patients will come according to whom Krishna is guiding in the heart to go, and just like the world happens like that. So each one will develop in at its own pace. Some will start living their teachers. Their patients may come and come for some time and live there, or the some of the doctors, I have been saying, why don't you continue your practice, let's say in the Northeast, because that's where I'm more involved. Can do keep doing your practice in Northeast, and then have a support staff here. Send patients from there who need more intensive care to here. Once a month you come for stay for a week and see the patients, everything. Otherwise, your staff with Ayurveda doctors and other people can take care the modalities of the treatment, and online they can continuously, they can be in touch with you. So some kind of hybrid system like this too could happen. But finally, I mean, it is up to us how attractive we make, how the ecosystem we make as spiritualists, also in a Kshatriya mode. That's up to us how we do it. There is no like you have to do like that, or this is how it is. We need their knowledge and their desire to serve people, patients. That is the, because in Varnam system that is most important, and then the spiritual aspects we have to make it attractive by higher taste and by logic and our own example to make them uh, you know uh, think of becoming more elevated in the consciousness, which will help their practices and then ultimately for their own goal of life.
So you would hope to have um, candidates also that are interested to make a base there to be, let's say, farmers,
Yeah. So exactly,
dairymen, to produce all the food and all the necessities of all the residents and the clients or students that would be
exactly, Prabhu. So
frequenting
I've
there.
been thinking of it as a Varnashrama community, as a college. So, and our conversations have been very helpful. You can see many of those elements are going to be coming into this implementation. Last 3 months, 4 months, whatever we have been discussing. So, what I've been thinking is in here, we have, because managing means to first of all classify the society. These, let's say, Ayurveda and medical professionals, they are already in that category of Brahminical, training, Brahminical thinking aspect category. Or everyone needs training, that we know, all of us. So then there is Vaishyas too. So for them, I'm saying you do here rent some place. Let's say, for example, just rent one row, it's like 500 feet long, and you grow turmeric in this, if one of you want to do that. And you, if you want, you can sell the turmeric, make money, provide to the community and make your occupation for your own thing, or you can develop your processing little place. We can even make a larger processing place if we can get so much funding, and I'm working on that also, because we need Vaishyas to produce wealth from land which is basically lying there vacant, and they can produce the income from income and productions, produce which everybody needs, herbs, this, that, fruits, vegetables. They can make money and also make products and sell online. I mean, the whole thing can be done on, all based on land. As you see, we have been talking about, oh, it looks like the same kind of work, but I've been saying, why don't we let them do it on the land? That itself curtails it. So it's like on the land, so many on the coconut products, like there is unlimited opportunities to use. You have 85 acre, there is more we can get, but so much of farmland is here. Cows, same thing.
Is there any scope there for a small dairy that would be, um, like you said, land is too expensive for cows there, but is there, if it, if there's an ecosystem, is there any scope for being able to have a viable dairy farm?
Not see
Small
the
scale, like small scale for a prospective Vaishya who wants to make that rather than turmeric, or sort of make the milk his thing.
see the land here now, no, we are selling for $100,000 an acre. So a cow needs about 1 acre or so per acre per year. So you see, if we have to, if we can, I mean, I'm sure one can rent land here too. And if one is, I think I know land which is lying vacant and it could be rented for much, very, very reasonably. So I don't say no, but on this exact 85 acre, it is going to be, it could be only used, what I've been thinking, because the let me show you here on this island. This is our office here. Okay. This is an island off the coast of Fort Myers in Florida. It's about uh, 4 or 5 hours south of Alachua. Gainesville, Alachua is right here. Takes that much time to get here. It's almost on the end. And it's quite warm. Like now it is 25 degrees or something centigrade. So on this island, is more or less, as I was mentioning, that I'd like to get places in near the cities. So it's big cities, Cape Coral and Fort Myers. They're all 15 minutes, half an hour away. Big airports, everything, colleges. So there is a lot of people all around, and in that there are some farmlands, very expensive. But as Varnasrama College, I felt we need to be within. Um, so this is coconut farm. I'm removing this thing. Anyway, these are all subdivided, and there will be temple here and Goshala a little bit so that cows can go around, and I mean we need for mulch and support for compost we need, but only little wherever land is little bit for the, only I was thinking only for the people in the community. This also belongs to us where the college will go, Ayurveda college. So, but there are other lands in the north. There are so many empty lands are available. So, I mean, I'm sure if I try to figure out, I should be able to find some. There is a beef farm here. So if they are able to do it, why not dairy? Yeah, there is a beef farm. It rents some land. Mm. So it's of course people everywhere need milk. Outside this place, no, this area, as soon as we get off the island, about little bit inside, then the land is so cheap, like 7, 8, like 1 hour down here, 1,000, $10,000 an acre.
Oh yeah.
So much land available. Florida is like this. I used to have a land here in Central Florida, uh, Label here, one and a half hour away, $10,000 an acre. So much land, so much land. So larger facility could be probably be here and like something like this. But here also there is some facility available. Cows everywhere in the US we can have, except anywhere Krishna provided.
Do you have or have you thought of any templates of business models there? Like I know you have a sort of business model template for dairy farm in New York. Do you have any similar sort of ideas for you mentioned turmeric and so on, but those are ideas. Have you
Oh my God, I developed so many things on Excel file and talking people. It's so much years have gone into all these.
specifically to Florida?
So all the tropical fruits, all kinds of root crops which can grow in the tropics, all these things are developed. What I was thinking is when we really start developing the Varnasrama College, and then anybody who has some interest, I could show them, see, this is how you do it. I have developed these connections, and if you go, maybe you go around, make a business plan talking to all these people. We have the ecosystem. We even have people who will help develop it like an incubator, and they are very experienced people who do this investing with startups and develop a whole, they have developed incubators and really professional people and CEOs and such, they would be very happy to provide. And if there is income opportunity, they would even invest. It depends on the person, how motivated and intelligent and character is good.
Yeah.
Another idea is so much of both money, knowledge, intelligence, network, everything is available. Uh, so I was developing all these things for as seed for different young people or whoever to come and take it forward. So I would be able to show them. Same thing in New York also. That's what I've been doing, testing it for years and years and years. Just the same way. Leo Prabhu, you had your hand up, please. I'm sorry I didn't see it till now.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji's. All glory to Srila Prabhupada and the Vast Pranams. I was just curious to ask, because when I went to New Taliban, uh, there was a situation where land was sold actually to devotees. I don't know how long ago this was, but then those devotees, for whatever reason, um, they decided to leave and they sold that land that they had, and they sold it to people, who weren't Krishna consciousness, and who had different practices, different religion. So now what they do is they do like a 100-year lease. From what I spoke to the temple president over there, is 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 that something that I just wanted to share that. I don't know if that was something that ever came to mind, a possibility. Then let's say a devotee, you sold the land to a devotee, and then that devotee, for whatever measure, they decided to sell the land, and it was to Christians who want to do cattle beef raising, and I'm not sure if that's something. I don't know. I just joined recently. I'm sorry if maybe this was already.
So this is very interesting, Prabhu. So I've been thinking how to do this. So we have something like this, a right of first refusal in the covenants which runs with the land. Any owner of a lot, including the owner's heir, successor, assigns who intends to sell, convey, or otherwise transfer that lot must give the association written notice of the proposed transaction, including the name of the proposed buyer and the terms of the offer. The association shall have the exclusive right for 6 months from receipt of such notice to purchase the lot on the same terms. If the association exercises right within that period, the owner shall sell the lot to the association under those terms, or its designee under those terms. Does not exercise the right, lose it. So this is called right of first refusal. Is a legal clause one can put on the property. So it runs with the land. Always it will be like that in perpetuity.
Srila Prabhupada inspired nicely.
It's there in all the legal things. Many people do that in condominiums. They want to keep a character. Jewish condominium, Christian people, everybody keeps like that. Not something new.
No, I understand. Just you never know what could happen in the devotee's life. Why it could be strong, desperate measures and stuff like that.
Of course.
But I guess it gives that protection. I also had a question
Yes, Prabhu.
um, in regards to the whole this, you could say, healthcare system on the holistic approach. Um, I'm guessing it could really be non-sectarian in the base. Um, so this would include different healers from different faiths as well, or is it mostly on I guess, on the Krishna consciousness approach?
A very good question. So, see, in a Varnasrama College, which because I am like trying to be disciple of Srila Prabhupada, I in this my like place, you know, because I understand from Gita, Krishna is the most attractive name of is one of the name of God, and this is the, let's say, better word, path I'm following. So I have a certain inclination, so I'm doing it like this. If anybody would like to be around what I am doing, then this is where we are. Or if they are in a varnashrama setting, where if somebody is a demigod worshipper like Durga or Lord Shiva, if they're very much into that worship ceremony, they can open their own temple and own community. I would help them, because that's the college doesn't demarcate between whom to teach. That's the first chapter of Bhagavad Gita. We hear to Dronacharya taught even the person who was even going to kill him. So we cannot discriminate while teaching. So, but as the form of worship, what I've done is public worship limitation. Public religious structures are permitted only on Lot K1, which I'm donating it to build a temple of Lord Krishna, our normal way of worship. No other lot may be used for public worship. Private in-home observation is not restricted. So Jewish people are there, they won't come because if they are not favorable to the whole thing. And we want them to come because of their character, their knowledge, their just the family is very good, they are God conscious, but they have a way of practicing which they may not want to come to our temple. That's no problem. In the house you keep worshipping. I learned that from Bhagavatam we hear so many things, that uh, first of all, it's not like everybody would be the same. They are always, Bhagavad Gita is talking about, I think I counted one time 60 or 70 different kind of consciousness of people. This demigod worshipper, impersonalist, so many things are there in a society. Then I saw personal example, saw meaning I researched this person about Savai Jai Singh of Jaipur, who established, and I saw in his biography, I really researched his biography because he established a city 300 years back, and he was a pure devotee of Lord Krishna. Radha Govind Dev Ji lives with him. They came to him from Vrindavan, Rupa Goswami's deities. And so how he established Jaipur, where he had all kinds of people live there. But what he was doing was he inspiring people to come to Mangala Arati by going to Mangala Arati daily and surrendering everything to him and taking directions from him and such. So automatically, yad yad acharati shreshtas tatta deve tarojana, whatever leaders are doing, personal example is really good, then we'll follow. It's up to me. If I am not in good behavior, if I'm not able to, then similarly everybody would, people will be like that. So like that, all of us in different places, we are, leading like that. So we can't legislate, but also I am of in Varnasrama College. This is what it is. This is the structure you are coming in. So if you don't respect it, if you don't appreciate it, why you are here, you can develop your own, and we'll help you develop it.
Okay. Yeah, because I was just curious, because ultimately this would definitely attract, like the saying goes, birds of the same feather flock together. So you would definitely have that attracting towards there. One is definitely Krishna and whoever's you know forwards towards Srila Prabhupada's mission. Um, and it's well, not healing is really non-sectarian. Um, and there's different types of approach. I studied a little bit of acupuncture and Chinese herbal medicine, and there's a lot of pros and cons to that methodology of healing. I've also seen the Christian-based approach when I've congregated at the Seventh-day Adventist church. They also have their own type of like healing place in Tennessee. So it's everything. It's holistic. But they use different types of approach like sweating, different type of cleanses, and all vegan type of approach. Also I guess for Ayurveda, it's integrative or also as well functional medicine. Uh, Dr. Vasant Lad, he's like one of the prominent ones here in the U.S. He's the one actually introduced a lot of American herbs to Ayurvedic, like the how do I put it? Like the classification when it comes down to like the rasa, the taste, and all of that. Um, I don't know how much I missed, but I was just curious to ask as well. There's also different specializations for Ayurvedic. So with the Ayurvedic doctors that you have right now, are they mostly based in India or they're based here in the U.S.?
In the US, yeah.
So the ones in they're mostly the background is from like certified degrees from India.
And both here too. There are colleges here too. The
And,
medicines you used to work in this Ayurveda business, all the medicines that you send out, all those medicines many times were going to the students, and now they have become doctors themselves over all these years, and their practices. So they have been using those and they're developed.
oh, so it's based upon just I guess that networking of
Yeah.
yeah, okay. That's interesting. Yeah, and I was also curious in regards to um so can you bring certain Ayurvedic herbs here to the US, or is there restrictions and that type of stuff? Because you have New York and then you have Florida, and I'm not sure where else you have, but you have different zones, so that actually that's a lot of benefit to growing these herbs and really be self-sustainable in that aspect and creating an ecosystem like that. And also, from what I recall before, you wanted to apply like I guess, the whatever holistic approach from ancient wisdom here and the herbs that they use here as well locally or regionally.
Yeah, we have to grow. There's a lot of knowledge. Scientifically, knowledge is required. Test and then research properly, proper research done. There's so many people we need to. I can tell you, we can go into the whole herbal thing one day. How the whole herbal research institute has to function, because herbs not just oh, this does this, because it has contraindications too. It can create problems too. And if it is not properly researched, using different characteristics given in, let's say, Ayurveda sciences, herbal sciences are there. It's not like just deductive approach one can take, which is normally taken. So, and because it causes so many issues, because oh, just herbs are there, there is no problem. No, there are so many herbs. The poisonous herbs, they are herbs which can cause you paralysis also. And yeah, some things are growing on our land, and if one takes that, it is like one becomes like mad, like that, and the like brain dissolves. So so it's not like everything is all great with the herbs just because they are herbs. They are not modern medicines. Each herb has its own characteristic. Like we understand from Srila Prabhupada that each body is made for a particular function, specifically a desire which is there in a soul from past karma to do certain thing, some desire. So, like eagle has a desire, they see long place, long and they fly. Every animal has that. So similarly, herbs are also like that. They have one particular great function. They are meant to do certain one particular thing, and so that we need to discover, um, either through deductive knowledge or inductive knowledge. So, and both then finally are tested out properly so that all these issues can be all sorted out. So the knowledge in the West has reduced a lot among, because the whole chain of parampara was broken. So, but how one can recreate it is the characteristics of herbs in Ayurveda, which are developing in India, are mentioned, and what they do is mentioned, and what it does. The whole principle of herbology is there. Chinese medicine also has a lot similar. So then one looks at a herb of the Western grown, and then the physical characteristics are not so much, like very small proportion, but many other characters which I am not so familiar with or at all familiar with. But I know what people have explained me is that gradually one knows their inherent qualities, to say a better word, so that what do they do in the body, one can know by testing, not just by physically testing on people. That was the older method, but now one can use their DNA to figure that out. And so then that way, then they are mapped with the herbs which are there in, let's say, in India, and the knowledge is there existing. And then more or less they figure out, okay, this herb could be the replacement herb in the West. And based on that, this could be its function. And now let us test it on human beings. So they build it out before, and through AI now it can be built out much, much more, so that it is much faster. Then they test, they make compositions based on, okay, this herb in India has this many times you have to use this much quantity in this much, and how this is boiled. Similarly, this, because this has less or less, so more quantity, and another thing has to be used because less potency of this. make a combination which could do the same similar thing. So it is a whole, like, science has to be developed around it. I know many medicine men basically, and people are, I don't say anything to, I just listen, but more or less they are quacks. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work, sometimes it causes problems too. And that's why the medical science don't touch them. They don't believe them so much. They think it is just some voodoo stuff, because the science is not developed yet fully. So I'm trying to gather here and there. I'm trying to gather. I keep in connection gradually. Who are these people who know more about these herbs? But I also know that until the science is properly applied on these herbs, this is not going to be ever accepted. I will not accept it. I will not take this herb. I don't know what's going to do. Because someone says, "Oh, this does this does this." I don't know. Um, it may not cause another problem.
Prabhuji, and so with the video that I shared on the group when they were like had like this pallet, um what's it called, like the Amish people, they had the horses with like a pallet jack lifter. I see that like they have different examples of how, how they have like their own Varna, you could say. It's pretty interesting, but this would definitely bring a lot of Brahminical, I guess, qualities, or individuals with Brahminical qualities for this Ayurvedic, I guess, approach. Uh, and I think I heard another prodigy talking about like different, like for other people with other type of qualities as well. So I saw in that video with the Amish, they had like their own fight club. So they would have like they would just these young Amish kids would just like gather around and they would just start boxing and fighting all that. But I guess applying that organization to for in a disciplined manner, that will also bring out great qualities for people who have Kshatriya tendencies, or if they fit um, that Varna or whatever, the Dharma as well. I'm not sure if that was discussed either. I know this is today in regards to Ayurveda.
Yeah, we can take that up. The whole Kshatriya training and one. Anyone else, Prabhu? Thank you very much, Prabhu.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Maybe if someone else had
Oh,
questions,
of
I
course, these are
apologize.
all great topics. Anyone else? Who is this Singh?
Prabhu, may I say something?
Of course, Prabhu.
I just don't want to hog the mic. I'm just thinking out loud a little bit. It sounds to me like a little bit. What came to mind was college towns, almost like
Exactly, Prabhu.
making colleges the basis of development of village. I guess this kind of goes without saying a little bit, but I guess it's a little bit of a realization
Thank you. That's what
is
I've been
to,
thinking. Yes.
yeah,
And then just to interject before you continue, there are in
sure.
Vastu Shastra, there are these Brahminical, as there are different, you can make Brahminical villages, there can be Kshatriya villages, Vaishya villages, Shudra village, also different kinds of village, like Kumar village or handicrafts village, and like that different village structures are there. And so, what I am thinking, what Srila Prabhupada is envisaging with Varnasrama colleges is, because he told the sannyasis that you'd be trained in different aspect knowledge. So I felt what he's saying is more like a Brahminical village, but teaching every science. So it could take different character, but because the predominating character of the whole thing is to serve the Lord and to get purified, so that remains the overarching function and the purpose behind it also. So That's why ours would be more like a Brahminical village. That doesn't mean we don't promote other people when they come, they want to do this teaching in another place. Of course, we teach everybody in every way, but this is kind of, let's say, a standard that we are setting. So a college town with this kind of character. Yeah, please carry on, bro.
Yeah, no, I was thinking of that. Just on one hand, there's a predominance of Shudras and Vaishyas and Kshatriyas in society, so it wouldn't seem sustainable to conceive of a model where every single village has to be a teaching village, because that would require a predominance of Brahminical
Mhm.
people in the village. Like in the United States, not every town is a college town, but there are a number of college towns. But then there are a greater number of towns that don't have colleges, if I'm not mistaken. But but it's fitting, I suppose, because Srila Prabhupada was establishing the Brahminical order first, so to say. Um, Krishna consciousness in general, or the society that he had built, might have, or at least like you said, he was speaking amongst sannyasis who are supposed to be Brahminical. So perhaps that would be the first step in creating a number of villages, to create the Brahminical village first, or create the teaching village first, and then if from those villages there are those who are inclined to that particular line of work, need need to go out, then perhaps they could develop a village that is not necessarily a teaching village or something like that.
Definitely, Prabhu. This is I mean, you teach people, and not that everybody joins the college after they graduate. So they go out and then live and practice it. Just because of being with Srila Prabhupada, we want to like help others and train and more. So that's why we are trying to do it like that. Otherwise, they just practice and go back to Krishna, no? And
Yes.
most people will do that. It just
Or
defeats.
they could move off of the campus, because college towns, from what I understand, college towns are able to support a large economy, because there's a lot of money that I guess
Yeah,
that's the sort of the almost like an industrial town can support a large number of people just from the extraction of the particular mineral or something like that, or the manufacture of the mineral. And then there's so many sort of offshoot economic, because the person who's taking it out of the ground is, earning money, and then they have to spend that money, and they end up supporting. I don't know what that's called in economics, but the primary industry is able to support so many secondary, tertiary industries, and so on. So this sounds like where the primary industry would be an educational institute to some degree, and then which would end up seeming to support or call in people of other varnas to support the educational institution.
excellent, Prabhu. This is great. Thank you. Thinking like very good to see your thinking. I mean, definitely. Also, another aspect is that real good knowledge has no dearth of funds. Srila Prabhupada quotes Chanakya Pandit that person with knowledge is respected around the world. And the knowledge should then also translate into creating wealth also as one of the aspects, because um, they Srila explains that when the students go to a Gurukul, they learn how to then more, if they don't want to remain brahmachari, which will be most of the people, then they also learn how to have an occupation and have wealth, meaning own money or necessities, how they can create and live. So that knowledge should create wealth also. It may not be greedy wealth, but create wealth also. So automatically it follows. My experience is that, Prabhu, as soon as a proper idea is that money is never a problem. It's always a problem is our capacity to for Krishna to think that whether we are qualified to accept money, not the money itself. Money will come because it just follows good knowledge like that. But Lakshmi ji, for her to come to to us, then Krishna is very, 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 very careful, very, very careful, because we have such a domineering mentality, like in me at least, like so deep rooted inside that it is immediately we see there is an opportunity to domineer over others. And so he's so careful not to give any money. And then devotees kind of many times I see like I lose hope. Maybe we should not think like this. Maybe we should not think like this in expansive terms, how Srila Prabhupada thinks. But there is no way around it, because more and more we keep reading and more we see Srila Prabhupada is very expansive mode like that. He's not thinking like small way. So it's not like we stop thinking. But point is to make ourselves like give up this dominating mentality so that we can then go into his expansive mode too, be able to do that. And it is not possible unless the Lakshmi ji follows this. But I would say the possibility of Lakshmi ji coming is no problem with knowledge, and the obstruction is us.
Prabhu, I just wanted to ask specifically relating to Sankirtan, because I know that you stress on Sankirtan a lot, and rightfully so. Not to say not to say that it's not warranted, but I just wanted to ask specifically, how do you envision in Florida, let's say, or New York for that matter, how would you envision the Sankirtan engagement
So what I've been
in the cities? How do you see? Yeah,
Varnasrama,
what's the model?
from the Varnasrama concept, you see, I am thinking right now in mode of Kshatriya mode, you know, but the way to do this is, let's say here, this area will be the temple and devotees. My duty is to provide a space, like freely donate this, like we were talking about as Agraharam, and develop enough resources that their homes could be built, devotees' homes, who and to attract them with not just a place and place to stay and like that, but place to work in their ply their art, so to say, which is to preach of different kinds of preaching. Of course, Ayurveda, all this teaching is being done here. That's different. Of course, that we are developing here, the Ayurveda college, the whole teachers, students, college, all these things. I can tell you later. The whole facility, herbal gardens, all this. This is also ours. So then we the Sankirtan aspects, no, it is my like think if I can attract those devotees who not just stay, but for executing their um, trade or of Sankirtan around. So not just by I mean, in our inspiration, in our priorities, in in terms of personal example, going out regularly, like the whole city. That's why big big thing of Varnasrama College. What I've been envisaging is them being near big cities. So this is not a huge city, but it is quite a large city, Fort Myers. And so there are the colleges here, of course, and I'm really hoping that we really focus on colleges, and these devotees very easily can travel to all these 3 4 colleges are around. And of course, and Florida is not so like, because of this, the way it is, short distances, about 2.5 hours away is Miami, all these big colleges. 2 hours away is Tampa. 3 4 hours away is Gainesville. 4 hours at least it takes. Orlando is 3 hours away. Lots and lots of colleges, so one could do traveling Sankirtan and develop the festival party and all everything. But for it all to start, it has to go from a place for them to stay in a temple. It requires funds. From my point of view, as a thinking as a, let's say, in a kshatriya role, then I need to come up with the way to provide them this land and the money and everything to develop the facilities. So this is what I have come to, that if I can develop this land and sell this to different doctors, and they develop this whole facility, then there is enough money to fund this thing. I have many plans with this whole thing. Struggle, it's not like suddenly it's so smooth. There's so much struggle. Oh my God, it's just unbelievable struggle. I've gone to the depths of hell, so to say, and come out by Lord's grace. So it's nothing is definitely easy because of our own impurities. But this is to, I mean, these are the different constituents I feel I mean, I'm trying to develop so that the Sankirtan can be properly, the ecosystem could be established. Of course, there are devotees have to be there first, and I'm hoping that I'm able to attract some Sankirtan devotees to come. Even if one devotee is good devotee who is able to preach from here, you make devotees. Mm.
So you're not attached to a specific preaching model, or you did say to colleges, but do you have any particular aversion to any style of teaching? Like, given that there's a sort of a an attraction or an attempt to attract some doctors and such, do you feel like there should be an aversion to a particular style of preaching?
Who can't
It,
understand you clearly, it's getting garbled.
can you hear me now?
Yeah.
I was able to understand well.
Could you explain, Prabhu? Ramananda Prabhu? Bharat Prabhu, can you explain what you were?
Signal all of a sudden.
Now I can hear you.
I was just in the barn. I just please let me know when you can hear me.
Yes, I can hear you now, Prabhu.
Okay. I was just curious to know if you would had envisioned any restrictions or any preferable style. Um, given doctors and the like, do you feel in one particular more or just open to the standard Sankirtan practices?
Oh, doctor. See, Prabhu, the temple will be there, the morning program going on, and then my thinking is to develop it such that because I would like to teach Ayurvedic doctors and medical doctors the how, because see, any kind of Brahminical skill, it's very difficult to be really effective without developing mode of goodness, because in mode of goodness the knowledge comes and the greed is diminished, because of which one is able to then think of others more than one. So in healing it, this is like we need that. Otherwise, when it is corrupted or gets disturbed by personal motivation, either name, fame, or money, or even worse, then one won't be able to be a good healer. And people who have that mentality, they want to know how to remove all these impurities within their heart, bad qualities. So that is one way, which I'm seeing many people want me to develop this and teach. And Ayurvedic doctors, colleges have been telling me that I should do this course. So I would like to develop this course and do this. And also to develop intuitive power, once the mode of goodness is there and knowledge is there, one is practicing and one really desiring, then in this, like in our devotee, we know Krishna as super soul guides us. Tesham satata yukthanam bhajatam priti purvakam. But in all the other occupations also he guides. Ye yatamam prapadyante. So like Ayurvedic doctors, there is a limit to, or any doctor, a limit to diagnosis which it can help. After that, it is only intuition. Krishna is to guide that this is what problem is, and you give this medicine or this therapy, or just change this problem or this modality or this food habit. So if one is more and more in tune with the Lord in the heart, then he becomes better, she becomes better and better able to heal people. So from that angle, one can easily teach and bring people into the whole philosophy of Bhagavad Gita. So that's definitely my focus. Um, as far as other people, it's just like any other college. You are Brahminically inclined, you want to be here and preach, go ahead. I mean, there are 100,000 ways to preach, no? And do Sankirtan, involve people in Sankirtan activities. Like everybody could do that in their own field.
Okay, Prabhu, thank you. Yeah, just
Like, as I feel like college is somewhere, just like in a college, one can't be like legislating so much, but it should be a environment of learning and discovering and helping each other develop based on Srila Prabhupada's instructions originally, and then through so many branches of knowledge. But just showing them how to develop that plus one finally, with 0, 0, 0 plus one. Just
yes.
like Ayurveda, this is by being in touch with super soul, one can be an Ayurveda doctor. So it just plus one adds to the whole thing, like that.
Very good.
Mhm.
What scale of temple did you envision there on that property, or in New York
Uh,
for that matter,
Big
as
temple,
a sort of a minimum?
yeah, minimum maybe if 100 people can come, that's all.
Okay, that's relatively okay. Our little temple room in our house is about we can fit about 35 until we're maxed out. So
Mhm. Well, because it's like if you build a bigger temple, then the focus moves there. And so I'm hoping that we can actually focus on the knowledge aspect and skill and purification and such. And
and not to become too encumbered by the maintaining a huge temple.
yeah, I mean, what's the point? Who is going to come look at the temple and accept Indian people, which is great, but we want people to go
It'll be
deep.
filled. It'd be full twice a year.
I mean, for them, it is. I mean, especially here and even in in New York, one can develop outside envisaging festivals. We can do large. So I've demarcated a place there where we could do festivals
Where is that?
outside, like between the two rows. There is a whole thing where we'll be putting a road, so we can put a whole structure around it and then festival there.
Oh, and which farm is that one?
Florida, both places, Florida and in New York, both places I've been thinking like this.
Oh, of where to establish the temple on the
So
property.
if there is many people come, instead of doing a big temple, one can do an outside thing for those three.
Oh yeah, sure. Yeah, yeah, big tent, like a wedding tent or something.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Prabhu. I appreciate the thorough dive into your vision, and I know that it was
Like this
sort
is
of done to satisfy my curiosity
the
to a
place
large
I
extent.
think you see on the video. The place build a whole thing on the road, and at the end, just build out a structure, and then people can have that.
Mhm.
Yes, so please carry on what you were saying. Sorry to interrupt.
No, I just wanted to thank you very much for the elaborate uh, description and humoring my questions and so on, and curiosity
Oh, of
to
course,
get the.
everything what you said made me think more. So it is. Uh, it's not because many things we think or not too deeply, and when you question like this and such good questions, so we get to like really articulate and really rethink whether that is good or not.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You mentioned last week, I think it was, that people really want to know. People who are interested don't necessarily become interested sort of on a whim. They really want to know, like, what are the facts and figures, like you're saying that as a justification for having a lot of research, that we really have to have the numbers down pat, like it has to be very why does this work, what are the numbers, how is it going to be profitable, so on and so forth. So I guess I'm no exception. I was just wanting to know a lot more about the details of the vision and how it's going to work and so on.
Yeah, I don't have all the answers at all. You can see I'm still struggling with so many things, and it just gradually, because of my lack of Brahminical power, Brahminical consciousness, it just takes time to like, ugh, ugh, like that, or with so many problems. Okay, maybe I should think like that. So just if it is more devotee association, it develops better. I know for sure because just with our 3 4 months of discussions weekly, not even so many hours we have spent, on this. I have like so many things I've learned and implemented or thought started doing it. I wouldn't have been able to do this collective without that thinking, without our discussions, to tell you the truth.
Hmm.
Okay. Leo Prabhu, you had something to add, please?
Yes, Rosie, I'm sorry. Just another question popped up. When it comes down to, I guess, through this whole and spiritual endeavor that you've been doing, which one has been more like friendly to like this whole Ayurvedic um health approach? Is it compared to like New York and Florida? Is Florida more, I guess, based on bureaucracy and everything else? Is it more to access, I guess, to the structure that you're trying to create there?
Oh, because no, I mean I haven't found much. The 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 overall US regulatory environment is already very high, very tough. So we are talking about on the level of whether it's 90 or 95, it is already at 90s, so it's not so much different. So on that aspect, but on the aspect of climate, of course, Florida is much more conducive because of all-round weather, and it's just better to maintain health because of our bodies. Mostly, especially as they get older, it is much easier to maintain health in warmer climates. But that doesn't mean people's bodies in colder climates cannot be healthy. They just need different protection and different prevention and And especially if one is deceased and it is cold, it is tough. So it's better to come in this climate and then be cured and everything and then go back. So that is there definitely. On the aspect of doctors, because New York is like the center of the world in a sense. So medical science, healthcare, Massachusetts and New York are the two biggest drivers. Massachusetts, because of so many health techs are there, startups, a lot of research happening, bad research also, good research also. And in New York is where the money is in healthcare, plus so many doctors, Cornell. I mean, there is bad Cornell also, and there are some very good doctor too. Like, let me, this, me, 1 second, let me show you.
No audio, Prabhu.
And I did my undergrad at University of Pennsylvania, where I submatriculated into a PhD in pharmacology and neuroscience. After that, I actually went to Tibet for 6 months and discovered non-pharmaceutical pills. Came back and worked at studied at a health and human rights program at Harvard, where I did a MPH in international health. And my advisor said I had to go to medical school. So I went to Rush University of Chicago and then did my residency in family medicine at Columbia Presbyterian in New York, urban family medicine, and then did a preventive medicine year at Mount Sinai NYU, and then immediately started on the Cornell side of New York Presbyterian, where I've been since 2002, three actually officially. So it's been a couple of decades. So I was director of the CAM program at one of the community hospitals, and I was director of research. And I did that for about a decade. Some of my students wanted to have clinical practice time with me doing holistic medicine. And we tried to do it at the hospital, but it just needed to be private so that we weren't always being hassled by the risk management people. So I started an institute called the Dincharya Institute, and I have been teaching there since 2007. And that was located on Lexington Avenue, New York. And now it's mostly online because the students are all over. So I've been teaching Ayurveda. And then after a few years, the BAMS people came after me and said, she's not a real doctor. She doesn't have a degree in Ayurveda. And I guess, whatever that was. So in 2013, I got a Fulbright and I went to India and was senior Fulbright scholar in medical sciences studying immunity. Ayurveda was OJAS. And then the dean there asked me to stay and do a PhD. So I did that in Shastra and Bhaishya Kalpana, which is ancient Indian chemistry. The first one was in pharmacology and neuroscience. This one was in Ayurveda. And then I came back in 2018 and started working, but then COVID happened and I happened to be in India for a conference. So I ended up working a clinical fellowship in a hospital and then coming back here. So currently I'm doing a whole bunch of different projects. I do serve on a couple of committees at the NIH, at the NCI, National Cancer Institute. I also have several consulting projects, which are really fun, including one which is working with a tech group codifying Ayurveda so that you can put in your symptoms and then it'll calculate the dosha karma and then give out medicines that a clinician can help you decide which one is individualized and right for you based on Dashavida Pariksha and Ashtavida Pariksha. So that's a little brief about my career. I love practicing holistic family medicine.
Anyway, she's teaching in Cornell and last 20 years or so many years. So there are many lot of professionals in New York, New Jersey into all these other medicines, and there is just so much intellectual power in this Northeast, especially New York area. So it is so much easier to do all these things there. You know,
Prabhu, the doctors that you featured in during this conversation, have they all been in contact with you? Are they part of the Nyaya group that is that, or are they associated with the farm in Florida? I'm not.
not yet. I'm hoping to, and I'm just giving them as an example to show there are so many doctors like that, like just like these doctors, the people who are buying here, who are interested, they are just like these. They didn't have this clippet, so I didn't share. But when
Yeah,
asked them to share, and
but the ones you did share, they shared that biography to you specifically,
uh, to the group in Nyaya.
then to the Nyaya group. Okay. And the Nyaya group is founded by yourself and
Oh, no,
somebody else,
sorry,
or
Aswati.
I'm sorry?
This lady who just came in, the doctor, just now, the Cornell doctor,
Yes,
he founded it.
she founded the Nyaya group.
Yeah.
But are you intimately associated with Nyaya? Because I saw the invitation and you were on there as a
Tomorrow. Yeah,
featured speaker or something.
yeah, tomorrow. So I won't say intimately. This is the first, year, first annual event of Nyaya. So, but I know few people there, yes, well.
Okay. I thought it might have been your initiative. I wasn't sure.
No, no,
The
no. That's why I'm saying without us also it will happen. Us coming into the picture. It is happening already. All we can do is to give probably a catalyst boost and through Bhagavad Gita organize it more efficiently, and then also have a whole mode of goodness and the spiritual knowledge and all these things we can help invoke, you know, so that the direction is much better and better able to treat. So devotees shouldn't miss this chance, no, to be part of. There's so many things happening in the world, no, as we know, in the whole permaculture, regenerative agriculture. We can be the leaders. I mean, if I'm able to implement this coconut food forest, we'll be the leaders in this whole field. And one of these, is developing this non-profit. This we can go discuss it much more later, but this is like farms of the future. We develop systems. I did that 2 years back. We develop systems and technologies. I'm not doing it anymore, and technology to transform monocultures into large scale food forest farms. This really needs to be developed, and I know how to do it. There is a whole history of how it used to happen in this whole of North America, Europe. These food forests were there before, and what are the benefits of it, and the projects different. I mean, I kind of designed it. So the point is that we could be the leaders in this developing this food forest, which is polyculture, which is where the direction which the policy makers want to go in this direction, understanding this planet needs that. And there is a lot of funding available, lots and lots of funding available to do this. So much research is being done, even in USDA supported, and foundations, and so it's just devotees and people who can do this. Mm. Leo Prabhu, yes.
So, like for example, that was a very nice overview, and especially like the association as well, and I guess the force behind it that we just saw the individual. So I was gonna ask, so in regards to like Gurukul and all that, um, like I know in regards to, I guess there's more liberty and more freedom for that in Florida, as well as like uh licensures and or I guess certificates and that type of aspect when it comes to revolving around Ayurveda or nat naturop naturopathy. I don't know if I'm
Natural.
pronouncing it correct. Okay. And also like uh, Chinese medicine in comparison to like New York, I guess in those two bases with just trying to create these type of organizations in Gurukul or like getting a license or that forth. Because I know in a lot of Ayurvedic institutes, like for example, Dr. Vasant Lad, his Ayurvedic institute moved from New Mexico to North Carolina, and there's other ones as well where other institutes that they're actually it's easier, I guess, because it's easier maybe to produce that institution and provide licenses. So I'm not too sure
The
if that's something that comes along.
About the teaching aspect or healthcare system?
Both applications, I guess, out of your experience so far.
See, there is the regulatory framework is there for licensing and board certification. Otherwise, one is considered a quack, and it's criminal actually. Civil and criminal both problems are there for people who practice health without licenses, like any other field. And but in new in there are some in some states in the US there are something called health freedom laws, which means that anybody could practice and earn by giving advice, and they will not be held liable. So it depends on whoever wants to go to them. It's a freedom. I want to go to this healer, and that system of knowledge doesn't have a license. It's up to me. The government should come in the middle. So that is also there. But the insurance companies, they don't use that because they want only licensed professionals. They will not insure. And also liability protection is there. So California has that, health freedom law. I think New Mexico also has, Arizona has it. I don't know about New Mexico. New York does not for sure has. So it is tough to practice for Ayurveda people and other people. Even in even in health freedom laws, even in health freedom states, what to speak of. There is so much work being done here in Florida for health freedom, but its lobbying is so tough. And even then, I don't agree to that the Ayurveda people can practice without anything, because many times because lack of insurance and lack of liability protection, how much can you really practice? And I mean, it's a little better, of course. So as far as education is concerned, I mean, that's why I'm hoping that medical doctors into Ayurveda under their license, they practice, and with the help and support of Ayurveda professionals and also farmers and other people. As far as education, the New York allows homeschooling, Florida allows homeschooling. New York allows charter schools, religious schools. Florida also allows charter schools, homeschools. There is more, how to say, more encouragement in Florida for homeschooling, for alternative kinds of teaching, because it's a more regulatory, less, I mean, more freedom, is more liberated state. But any of the federal laws are applicable everywhere. So certain standards have to be met, and certain all these different other laws in education, federal, they all have to be met. State also has laws, but there is many families. They move here to homeschool. I know in the island there are many families from many years they've been homeschooling kids. Big Christian families and all of South is like that.
Yeah, because I know that they just did something about vaccines over there in Florida as well. So I know with New York, it's like if you want religious freedoms in regards to that, it's
Yes,
a little bit more difficult.
you
And you
know,
want Florida, it's more accessible for those freedoms.
that is for public schools. For if you're homeschooling, then you don't need to vaccinate your kids in New York.
But during COVID, they in New York they
No,
didn't allow that.
homeschoolers were going, and that's why many people became homeschoolers. Near our farm, there must be at least 200, 300 families who are homeschooling in New York. It's a huge community.
I wasn't aware. I thought New York was very strict, as one of the states. But also, I'm sorry.
Homeschooling, there is no problem.
And then also with I guess now with the current administration and government, I guess this whole movement, I don't know how much authenticity is it, but I see some symptoms of it, where it's like make America healthy again. Um, I've been noticing that trend where it's more going to the autonomy to I guess towards the patient, where they want to actually go and get treatment, not so much of like this I guess what's it called, ugra ugra karma type type system, healthcare system that we have. And I was even told that there might be even more choice when it comes down to where the credits for like insurance credits that everybody gets in this current healthcare system, where they want to use it for. So I'm not too sure. So this might be yeah, this is Krishna's arrangement. I feel, pro. This would be interesting time for for everybody to, I guess, nationwide, to really approach healthcare in a different type of way. And you're definitely in this type of possibly be a pioneer. I hope so.
Um, I mean, all these people are doing so much, no? All of these, you can see they have such good heart, and there are many people I know. They have such good heart in trying to do it. We can just add the last salt to it. Anyone else before we finish? Hari Kirtan Prabhu, you have been so silent. I don't know if you're even there. You have such a big presence normally. Appropriate to your.
Yes, no, I've been listening, and this has been a wonderful to hear everything. I'm working this morning, and so I'm making all sorts of noise. I didn't want to disturb the conversation.
Would you like
So,
to say something, Prabhu, like your last comments or your last analysis? Bad, good, ugly, bad, whatever.
I mean, I think it's wonderful. I think this is a very exciting uh, endeavor that you're pursuing here, and this idea of a Varnasrama College, like pursuing advancing the sciences of Ayurveda in the Western mind and in the Western field. I think this is something that we have needed for a long time. I think it's very important. So I'm excited to hear this going on. So I think that this is one thing that has come up for me again and again in discussions with different people about self-sufficient communities and Varnashram and different projects, because there's so many different projects. There will be such a variety of inclination and desire and where people want to put energy. And frequently we will not all agree on, how things should be done. And that's perfectly fine. I think that's actually wonderful. Because what you're pursuing here is not something that I would have thought of putting interest towards or pursuing. But hearing what your the vision that you have and what you're kind of pushing towards, I think this is fantastic, you know, and you know, I have 5 children, and they're all going to have different personalities, and when they grow up, I think, oh, this is great. Somehow they can be involved, you know, in some way also, you know, they have their different aptitudes. And there's so many young people that are looking for something to do in Krishna consciousness, but like also a field that they can work in, and you know, so I think that this type of endeavor, uh, I think, is so valuable and so important, and uh, it is also, in a way, there's of course direct preaching, but also just advancing the the how would you say,
Knowledge base.
the credibility of Vedic sciences in the Western mind and in the Western world. This is a very tremendous form of preaching, because when people start to see that, oh, Ayurveda is actually very effective and very powerful medical system, then they start to give the other parts of the Vedas much more serious thought. So yeah, I think this is really exciting and really wonderful, and I really appreciate you sharing this with everybody. And so yeah, that's my thoughts.
Thank you very much, Prabhu. It's very good to hear. Any critiques?
Just one thing that came to mind, and it's not, you know, this is down the road. It's not something that is I see as a thing, and that is that the Western way of approaching things is one of let us apply our minds, you know, our very intelligent minds, to figuring something out, and then we will determine that this is okay. This is the best way it should be done, and that is one way to approach knowledge. And we see in the Western world it has led to this Western civilization, and it has its pitfalls. And so in a educational setting, if we are developing it and focusing it around the Vedic system, more emphasis on accepting the authority of the Vedas and the Acharyas, I think, is very important, because the Western idea is, like I was saying, you know, we start to think of ourselves as being authoritative, but actually the ultimate knowledge comes from Krishna and comes from the Acharyas. So that approaching it, you know, the education in this institution and in this you know, facility is coming from the Vedas and coming from understanding the Vedas, and the Ayurveda and the various scriptures that are studied, you know, and maybe we will not be able to, you know, find a complete set of knowledge, and then we have to, you know, apply some deduction. But I think that is something that should be kept in mind, you know, lest we find ourselves concocting too many things. So that's all.
Excellent. Thank you. Yes, you're correct. To add to it, it's perfect. You said, Prabhu. Anyone else? Bharat Prabhu, I know you are busy, but do you have any thoughts to share?
Hi, Krishna. Yeah, I very much like your vision, and I think it's possible, and it's already happening. So what you said in the beginning, that there needs to be an integration with the current society, I think that's one key point, and I hope that many more devotees think like this, and that the model that you're presenting, that this can be sort of franchised, so to say, and adapted, like Ramananda was saying, to different sort of college towns, or however it will look like. And yeah, there are so many people that actually advance in becoming independent from the system, but they often just go into simple living, as you pointed out in the beginning, and they have no direction. So we need to give this direction if we want or not. So otherwise, it's like we are letting people walk into into a trap, walk into a trap, and into the material trap, a simplicity trap, and we ourselves need to build it at the same time. So that's a huge challenge. So I have a lot of respect for the courage that you're bringing to the table, and I very much hope that this is very successful, and um yeah I I see that the health sector and Ayurveda can help a lot with the support of Lord Dhanvantari, to open a door for bhakti. It's very easy to come through that door when people already are inclined, and then the rest of the Varnasrama College, as you describe it, only starts making sense in the bigger picture when you say teaching about how to create a new industry. You are testing, creating different industries, and I hope others from this call that already go into that direction will also embody that spirit in the next couple of years. And I'm certain this is making Srila Prabhupada really happy, or he is already happy. Now it needs a good plan, or several plans, and testing and trial and error, and the management. As for now, I think your attitude is like perfect, seeing what opportunities come up with the doctors that move to the land, and whatever Krishna is granting, and being very flexible, and then also going with the intuition and super soul, and praying to get the right direction, and building a plan from that, and joining forces in different ways, however that will look like.
Mhm. That's why I wanted you to come and do this.
I see there are people. Oh, sorry. I see there are people that are already teaching a lot of these things, like for cows. There is a couple, an elderly couple. They make a bunch of nice little books that teach how to be self-sufficient with a cow, and they teach a course. They run that under the One Cow Revolution, and I think they have a different name. They just used that for some time, but still they are eating cows. So it's so ironic. They say they would never live without a cow. If they would live in a suburb with only a little garden, they would live with a cow. And you need a cow for a farm to thrive. So they preach that, and they teach it online, and they eat the cow. Like the lady is not, the guy is. So I think there are many examples where people go into the right direction and do it grossly wrong. And we can learn from some of these examples, and hopefully inspire more with everything that modern civilization has to offer for us, to integrate everything. And then hopefully some of our kids will pick up something of that, like our Kirtan saying, because they see we give a better example.
Thank you, Prabhu. You're coming in January, right?
I still have no visa, and I hope they will grant it soon. But there's not much time before Christmas, and then New Year's. It's tight.
Mhm.
Yeah. Mm.
Thank you, Prabhu. Gauranga Sundar Prabhu, please share some thoughts. You there? Or you have put us on remote control? Manchakalpataru Prabhu. Anyone else? Ranchar Prabhu, you want to say something?
Hare Krishna Prabhu. No, no, nothing, Prabhu. I'm just waiting, Prabhu. That's it.
Okay. Hare Krishna. So let us, next week should be in the same vein. Should we take up the cow protection thing?
I think that would be a great idea. Yeah.
So that the whole college around cow protection building out the model.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, Hare Krishna. Thank you very, very, very much. Not only for letting me speak so that I could learn so much by speaking, and also by all these wonderful, analysis, and so that I could hear. It's very helpful to hear, see other people's point of view. I would have liked much more critiques and much more, but of course, this is the first instance of introduction, and gradually more and more, like all the aspects of it. We have been discussing in Varnasrama College discussions or weekly, how to organize this thing. So more topics will come up, then I will go into more details and present it to you, that this is what I've been thinking of doing. What do you say? Like just like the whole community organization, the temple, the rules in the community, all of these will come up. Okay, Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. Vanchakalpataru.
Haribo.
Yascha Kripa Sindhu Devacha Patitanam Bhavanebhyo
Bhavane
Vaishnavibhyo
Vaishnavibhyo
Namo
Namo
Devyo
Namah.
namo namaha.
Hare Krishna.